Hey, Turk here. Just before we get into the video proper, I wanted to do a quick aside. I had to do some editing on this video. Apparently, there was an issue with my camera focusing, and there was like bright flashes of light during this entire video. I don't see any way to fix it other than I was worried that it might affect those that have epilepsy. I didn't want to trigger anyone with that, especially with like the grid background and the lights flashing. I think it had something to do with the contrast of the amount of lighting I had and the black table and all the stuff. So the things I've learned for next time, I don't think I can fix it. So I just had to really dim everything. The rest of the video is gonna look like crud, and I can't really do anything about that. I'm sorry. I'm gonna be shooting another one of these to make up for it, but I still wanted to share this with you all because I hope that it may have some messages that you would find helpful to hear now. So that is all. Thank you. Hello and welcome, all you beautiful and strange creatures, to my channel. My name is Turk, and today I have for you all a pick a card reading. If you're unfamiliar with how pick a card readings work, basically you're going to be tapping into your intuition to pick one or many of these piles to receive their messages within. I have laid out for you 3 piles today, and they're coming along with the guided message of what would your inner child like you to know. In the spirit of that, I'm actually incorporating not a tarot or oracle deck, but a tabletop card game called Dixit. This is one of my favorite card games. It's actually a storytelling card game, and it's chock full of just some very lovely, fun storybook childlike images. This game is not unlike Dixit, and each person takes a turn kind of being a storyteller with the cards, and it is absolutely one of my most favorite board games ever. So I kind of wanted to bring that energy, that playful, fun energy, into this reading. And so I've chosen for the focuses of each of the pile one of the cards from the deck. Right. So if you already know if you already know which pile that you'd like to pick, go ahead and jump to the timestamps below. We have pile number 1, pile number 2, and pile number 3. And if you need a little help, all you really need to do is take a big, deep breath in and kind of just feel your stomach expand and your chest expand as the air fills you. And hold it for just a moment. And as you're letting it out, go ahead and open your eyes and see which pile that you're drawn to. Just whichever pile your eyes first land on. There's no wrong way to do this. If you're undecided between 2, go ahead and listen to multiple piles. All right, with all of that out of the way, go ahead and jump to the timestamps that I have marked below to your pile, and I will see you over on your pile's reading. Thank you. Hello, pile number 1, and this is your tarot pick-a-card reading for today, with the message of what would your inner child like you to know? Right, so I'm just gonna hop right into it. So the guiding card for this message is going to be this card, and it's got a picture of a man in robes. He's following some sort of heart on a leash. It's kind of like a pendant almost. And it looks like he's kind of searching around these cubbies. Kind of get out of order there. So the first thing already coming up for me is I'm kind of imagining this man walking a dog, kind of like those invisible dog, those gag invisible dog leashes, if you've ever seen them. I feel like he's kind of being led along by his heart, but he doesn't really know where it's going. He's kind of he's focusing on the heart itself. He's looking right down at it, and he's kind of just like curiously looking at it, thinking like, "Where are you taking me? Where are we going?" It's not to this open box here. It is kind of just off into the distance. So the message that I'm getting with that is this is certainly a time where if you have an idea mentally of all the things that you enjoy, and yet there's something else coming up that is confusing for you, but it seems to be coming up into your life like you're not sure why it's there, and you maybe have put aside a bit and said like, well, this isn't for me, or this isn't something I like. But there's a reason that thing is showing up, and it is asking you to kind of follow it along. You might not understand why. You might not understand what, uh, what it's even there for, because it might be something that you think you don't like, right? And um, it may be something that you don't like, and you're just thinking like, what's the purpose of this thing? Well, you're not going to know until you follow it along. It's not really going to tell you whatever message it has for you until you allow yourself to be led by it. And this may interfere with kind of what your thinking is telling you. It might be telling you this is a bad idea, this is going to hurt, this is going to be boring, this is going to be weird. Any number of things that it might be trying to tell you right now. But the suggestion already is to tune that out and just follow along. You're going to be safe. You're protected. It's not going to lead you off of a cliff. It just has something to show you, and it wants you to kind of play along with it. Right. So moving on. We have rainbow blessings. This thing that's trying to lead you along is pretty much your inner child, your inner kid's like biggest thing. Like this is the thing that really lights up their world. And well, we grow apart, we grow distant from the things that used to excite us as kids, because we grow up, because we have moved on from those things. You're being pointed back in the direction of whatever that was, and I get the feeling that you might not remember what it was at this current point in time, but it was something that brought you so much joy and pleasure and excitement, and just filled your world with all of the colors of the rainbow. And it's been gone for a while, but that's okay. You're being led back to that now. What exactly is getting in the way of that? In the flow, everything is smooth sailing. An impasse reflects and redirect your energy. All right. So what I'm seeing here is the thing that's preventing that movement towards that thing that you love is the mental blockage, right? It is that mental wall that comes up whenever you start to pursue it. So maybe you are kind of aware of what it is, but there is a mental construct, a belief that is halting that progress. I can imagine this man kind of just standing there, just holding that chain as that heart's kind of like tugging forward, right? And he's just kind of just looking at it, staring at it, thinking like, what if you lead to my demise? What if you lead to a bad outcome and things are worse now because I listened to you? I'm kind of just imagining he could just stand there forever, just like yanking it back, and it's just pulling. Its call is insistent. Its call is vibrant and possible to ignore in the end. You may feel that you're at an impasse with this thing. You may feel that you haven't been able to that you're impasse with yourself. Maybe at an impasse with your heart of, having that feel right and loved and fulfilled, right? I get the sense of this man kind of just rummaging through all of these bins and kind of looking for that thing, trying to think his way out of the situation, trying to think and discover the right thing if he just could figure it out. But that's going to leave him at this impasse. Impasse. And the way forward is being in the flow. I'm kind of imagining him just like hooking the heart Rudolph style up to this sleigh, because we've got like a woman in a sleigh, kind of all nice up and bundled up and cozy. Imagine you just like hooking up and just be like, all right, where do we go? What's next? Okay. You might not have the picture of where it's going because you are in the flow, you're in the present with it, and you're allowing it to take you where it wishes to be and what it wishes to show you. Let's go ahead and pull the final cards here. We have Ace of Cups in reverse, Four of Cups in reverse, and the Eight of Wands upright. Right. So what I'm seeing here is following this passion, following this buried love of yours. With the Ace of Cups does lead to a new emotional beginning. Basically, it is going to help you open up to a part of yourself that you didn't remember existed, but has been there all along. It is going to feel like it's a whole new world for you. I kind of got whole new world too because I was just thinking like magic carpet when I saw the sleigh, which I don't even know if I can sing Disney on. Well, one, I can't sing Disney anyways, but I don't know if I can sing Disney on YouTube without getting copyright struck. But you know the song, I'm sure, possibly. I'm thinking like this one thing, if you reconnect with it, is going to feel like a whole new world. Yeah, with Four of Cups in reverse too, I'm seeing this thing as well is going to be a foundation for you. It is going to be basically the building blocks of what brings you comfort and joy and success and all of these things. This thing is really, really big for you when you reconnect to it. And it's one of those things that it's just like, if you think, if you're thinking about it too hard, you might try being able to piece together where it fits in with everything. And you're thinking like, how could this be something that brings me everything that I need? How can this be the foundation of it? And just the key here is to not think about it, because intellectually you're not going to be able to come up with those answers, especially in the position where you are right now. It's kind of sitting with it, trying to justify going for it, trying to weigh the pros and cons of should I, shouldn't I, is this right, is there another way, what are people gonna think? That's never going to lead to any satisfying answer. And this is something too that you can feel out for yourself at first. You can feel out within yourself and feel honestly to see how it serves you, and the blessings that it will bring you. You might not see immediately or see how it will do those things, but you can do it. You can try it privately is basically what I'm saying. You can do it for yourself, within yourself, and without judgment. And that's the thing too, because again, you don't know where this heart's leading. Maybe the thing that it does lead you to isn't ultimately the final step. We are always on a journey, but perhaps what this is trying to lead you to is part of that journey, right? Whatever it takes to you next, sit with it without judgment. Just reflect on that energy. Take it in. See how it makes you feel. Honestly, spend time with it. Spend time rediscovering it and seeing it in a new light. We have Eight of Wands here, which to me just says that this you might also be on the side of things where you're feeling that you have a lot of options in this regard. But again, this comes back to, regardless of if you feel like there's so many things that you're confused and that's what's got you mentally trapped, or you feel that there's so many things to choose that you're just on a diverting path of like which one is going to lead to my best future. Um, that's all. That's all illusions. That's all fear, right? Those are fear that are clouding your judgment and clouding your hearts. When all you really truly need to hold within you is that if you are guided by your hearts, you can do no wrong. You are always on the right path. You are exactly where you need to be, so long as you allow yourself to be guided by your heart. And children are so good at doing this. They don't care about the consequences. They're not living in fear of where it might go. They just allow themselves to be guided to whatever their heart wherever their heart is drawn, whatever draws their interests. And perhaps you're someone who really needs to think and plan things out. But now is the time to step back from that. Just let go of the need to know, the need to hold on, and see where it brings you. Of course, that too is going to bring the energy of kind of just feeling like you're zooming ahead. But you're going to be doing it in the flow. Like, it's going to feel, it's going to be a rush. It's going to be 0 to 60 and beyond. But at the same time, it's going to be just like you kind of laying back comfy, just like, oh yeah, this feels right. This feels good. Let's see where this goes. Who cares if there's some bumps along the way? Who cares if it looks like it's going in a totally different direction or I can't even see where it's going? I'm just along for the ride, and I'm excited to see what this brings. Right. I think that's about all I have for you in this reading. Yeah, I'm still doing a new setup here, so I apologize. I gesticulate a lot. I don't know what that's going to look like on camera, so we're just going to go ahead and hope and see. If you enjoyed this reading, please leave a like, a thumbs up, I believe. Are people calling it that? Thumbs up. Subscribe if you'd like to see more of this content on my channel. I kind of am doing a lot right now. The main focus is going to be spirituality and science and art and a bunch of things. So go ahead and check that out too. I'm kind of working on things, but this is kind of a project I really wanted to get back to because I love this sort of thing and I want to be able to give back to others. I will be soon also taking free personalized tarot readings. I don't currently have that set up yet, and I'm not doing it tonight, so that'll be soon, I guess. I don't know why I mentioned it. Yeah, so I hope these messages were helpful. I hope wherever you are on your journey that you are safe and well and happy. Thank you for coming to my reading. Goodbye. Hello, pile number 2, and this is your pick a card reading. Blah, 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 blah. Hello, pile number 2. If you picked this card that shows some soldiers kind of moving in a... Is that called a phalanx? I'm not certain. They have that kind of like tower shields box thing going on where they kind of move as a unit. If you pick that your card, and this is pile 2, you're in the right place, because this is your reading. I'm just going to hop right into it. Right. So, right off the top with this card, I'm getting, naturally, a very defensive energy. It is a very, very well-created barrier. Very, very closely knit and closed off. And this is such a great thing to be able to do for ourselves, right? It is very good for us to be able to protect ourselves, our energy. So many people in this world are not capable of doing so. And certainly a lot of us as children are not taught to do so, and we just take in so much. And I think that leads us to kind of creating overly protective barriers to compensate for that. And that's kind of what I'm getting off initially from this is, good job on learning to protect yourself, learning the necessity to protect yourself, and being able to do it so effectively. I'm imagining, there's some kind of like bubbles or balls bouncing off from this brazier here in the middle. But they're just rolling right off. They're not even really going to notice. And that's a hard thing to even allow ourselves to do because we feel like it's not right. So it's it's great that you're in that position. But the message I'm getting is that it is okay to open up. It is okay to, to now shift that energy to where I'm kind of imagining like a tank or something where it's like got a visor in the front. Like you don't have to bring the barriers down. They're good. They're helpful for whatever position you're in. Perhaps you're surrounded by a lot of negativity, a lot of negative energy, and that's not saying to stop doing that. It is simply saying, that maybe a slight reconfiguration is in order. Because if you're entirely closed off, you can't let any of the good in as well. And it's difficult to have that sort of exchange. It's difficult to really see where you're going. You're not going to get hurt, but you also then close yourself off to love, essentially. But I'm getting from this that like this getting yourself to this point was such a huge hurdle, was such a huge achievement and victory for you from where you were coming from the things that you've experienced, that even to be here was such an amazing thing. And like, for that, like, I get it. You finally have that safety net and you're just like, whew, I can feel safe. I can feel sound. That's a very solid and a very wonderful foundation. And it's absolutely great to have that comfortable space to be able to fall back on. You have DNA karma. With this card, I'm very much getting... okay. I wasn't expecting to do these so soon. I'm getting a love connection right off the bat. I wasn't really planning on doing like love-based readings, but here we are. This is... Well, okay, so loved, lovers, or love. I mean, I know I mentioned love before, like, for some of you, for anyone who's looking for a partner, who's looking for someone to personally share their love with, like, that is what is, the necessity for opening that flap, for putting yourself in that position to be able to receive, right? Because it is there, but it is not currently able to get in. And this is... I'm very free and open about love. I'm far more just about being able to share love with anyone, in whatever way that they're comfortable with. So for me, it is just love in general. But I guess when I saw this card, I was just immediately seeing like partnership. If you're not into that, cool, because it is still saying that love, connecting with other, closeness, compassion, all of that, that's still trying to creep its way in, and it's kind of just bonking right off of that shields box. I really should... I'm really curious about the name of that. Let's see more specifically what is kind of creating that blockage. Maybe what could be released to help move it along. We have great adventure, take a risk, venture forward, and grounding, go deep and explore your roots. It's a very, very juxtaposed energy there. what I'm seeing here is what I'm seeing here is kind of a dual path of I'm basically seeing what I was seeing before. I'm trying to see if there's anything else here, because what I'm seeing is, again, you have this very grounding thing, right? You have this space, your energy field that is all your own. You have that now. You have been exploring it. You've been growing it. You have been using that as your foundation. Um, and kind of from there, you have your vessel to now move forward. So I'm kind of just seeing you riding atop that bravely, proudly, and kind of seeing where that takes you, seeing what the risks open up to. You can't find any treasure without taking that risk, right? Can't find any treasure without putting yourself out there. And um, basically all these cards are saying is confirming, like, the vessel you have, the foundation that you've created is enough. It is more than enough to carry you through the venture forward. um I mean, this is still a fine place to be in too, because you have this grounded space, you have yourself, and you are enough as you are. You don't need, you probably understand by now that you don't need another to fulfill you, and that you're just now wanting wanting that sort of connection, just because you know it would be fun, it would be it would be enjoyable, it would be great to share that experience with someone else. And it is a risk, right? Because you open up that slot and anything could come in, but it will not be anything that can destroy you. It will not be anything that could even tear you down. It won't even phase you with how well constructed your foundations are. Um, it's out there. It just it needs to be moved towards. We have the Fool, have the Ace of Pentacles in reverse, and we have the Three of Wands. All right, so perhaps I can give a bit more helpful advice than just like suck it up and do it, because that's not what I'm saying here. I'm just saying that if anything, this is confirmation that you are safe to do so, that you no longer need to feel the need to protect so heavily. Right. So we have the Fool card. Always great for new beginnings. That's a great energy to have for this venture. That's a great confirmation of the ability, the space to be able to do this in. We have the Ace of Pentacles in reverse. More kind of beginning energy here. The Ace of Pentacles, I would say, is start small. You know, you don't need to go out and find the one right now. You might, perhaps, you know, you put yourself out there and you could connect them with them right away, like that opening up the slot. Because like, I'm imagining, like, you know, you've been traveling in this this protective dome of shields, right? And you're just going around. You're safe. You're protected. You're vibing in there. You're feeling good. But you're just like, oh, it's a little like, you know, it's a little quiet in here. And you've been going around and you don't know what's on the outside. Maybe it's been a little bit since you've kind of opened that slit, and I'm really pushing this analogy so far. And you know, it could be that they're right on the other side. Like, you open up and they just flood right in. That doesn't matter, and I think that kind of might be what is perhaps driving a little bit of that fear, not only of being hurt, but of just like, who is it? Who is it on the other side? Like, how could I go to just straight to the one? It's possible, but it's not really where your focus needs to be, because even starting little, just starting with any sort of connection with anyone in your life that you could perhaps um, allow yourself to connect more with. That's going to drive that along too. That's going to snowball that energy, and that's going to be a great place even to practice. I want to say. I said relationship love, and that's kind of what came up. That's a tough one to speak of, and this is kind of me, Turk, now, kind of uh, getting into it a little bit, um, because love is whatever, however you want to say it. To me, I'm very much a love everyone sort of person, and I feel that we can share deep, intimate connections with anyone in our life, and that we don't need to have a particular single lover. Um, I'm kind of newer to doing the tarot. I don't know if I want to put my own energy into here, but I just want to kind of qualify uh, why I was drawn to relationship energy whatsoever. It may have been more fair to say that this is just love energy, right? This is love, and that's fair, because we all have our own views on that. We all have our own desires. We all have our own boundaries with that. So I will qualify. This is just love. This is love, no strings attached, unconditional. Just, I care about you. You care about me. We're going to make sure, um, we do what we can for each other. We're there for each other. We are no labels needed. Just, it's love. So I guess I just wanted to kind of pop in with like that, of like why I was kind of drawn in multiple directions with that. That's kind of me. It's just love. Whatever that looks like for you, whatever you're wanting, however you're wanting to do that, it's there for you. Perhaps, like me, don't focus on the labels, and just focus on kind of what's in front of you, what can be built upon, because those things are going to be the things that lead to whatever it is you're looking for here. In whichever way, and you don't need to have a destination in mind when you set off on this journey. It's not about the destination at all. It's about what you find along the way. I'm going to get to the Three of Wands, but that was kind of what I was seeing here too, is you have options before you. If romantic is a thing on your mind, you have romantic options before you if you open up. And that might be what's scaring you too, is like, well, is this the one? Well, you don't, even if you got into a romantic relationship, it wouldn't necessarily have to be the one. It wouldn't have to be the soulmate, the forever person. Even just a basic like date is like, I don't know what, I keep coming back to relationship stuff, and I apologize if that's not your thing. If you're totally just like, no thank you, then disregard all of that. I, again, am not big into those sorts of readings, but that's just what I'm picking up on. If that is your thing, you have options already available in front of you, and perhaps you are. It's only with this card that I'm getting like the one kind of fears and desires simultaneously. It's like, oh, it's the next one's gonna be the one, and it's like, that doesn't matter. And that focus, that the fear that might bring is going to kind of maybe kind of keep you in this walled off space. I just get a very kind of this woodpecker. I believe that's a woodpecker. I don't know if they're by oceans usually, but this woodpecker possibly is kind of just it's staring rather tenderly at this stick. Boy, wow. This energy, this reading, I'm kind of just um, getting a little bit all over the place. So I apologize for that. Like I said, still kind of feeling this whole thing out. Right. I'm not really seeing much more else than that. I'm seeing you have the assurance, right? You've done great to get to where you are. You have such a solid, strong foundation for what you want to be doing. Love came up in terms of romantic relationship, but I want to say this is just generally for letting things and people in, right? And this is a confirmation that yeah, you are good, you are safe, you are healed to be able to do that. But do it in the way that you want. It is your adventure, right? It is your it is your journey to take. So, however that's going to look for you, that's up to you. You are valid to do it in the way that you feel drawn to. But you won't be able to connect with it. You won't be able to find it until you take that journey. I apologize if any of this comes off as accusatory or anything like that. I'm absolutely not. It is just merely, I get it. I know the feeling of like, oh, this feels good. This feels right. And absolutely, that's you're not gonna lose that. I guess maybe that's one last thing. Like you're not losing this. You're not giving that space up that you've built. That's for you. That is, your right to have. When back before when I said kind of the connection, the difference between these two is like, yeah, you can still be this this solitary maiden. Lord, what is the male version of a maiden? I don't actually know. I'll just whatever you are, male, female, they, other. You can be that solitary. But you can also be out there as well. And you're not sacrificing one for the other. You're not losing anything. You only have more to gain from this. Right. I hope that you found this helpful. I hope if you did, please leave a like, thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you'd like to see more content. I do other things like vlogs on spirituality and science and whatever comes to mind. I'm kind of really just feeling out this whole space. I just really wanted to get back to tarot reading. I will eventually be offering free personal tarot services. Those are currently not up yet, but just look out at the space for those in the future. That is all I have for you today. I really wish you wherever you are that you are happy, safe, and healthy, and all of the love in the world, because you absolutely deserve it. And that's really all I just want to say here is like, it's there, it's for you, it's right, you are totally worthy, and I'm so very happy for you. All right, thank you. Hello, pile number 3. If you picked the card of the wolf kind of standing on the platter with the eye overlooking him, this will be your reading for today. Okay, I'm going to hop right into it. The message again is messages that your inner child would like you to know. And right, so first off the bat, what I'm getting from this overarching card is a very uncomfortable energy. It's very judgmental, very focused, very. I'm getting a little bit like guilty and shame are the words that are coming to mind, and I'm just overall getting a very uncomfortable like feeling from the situation that you're in. Judgment is certainly the word that comes to mind here, and let me pull a couple more cards. We have Summer Solstice Radiance. We have Desert Passage, Trust There's a Divine Plan, and Protected by Angels. You're cherished by the angels. Right. Yeah, I'm very much getting a sense of judgment, a sense of a lot of eyes on you, right? Like you are trying to just be yourself here. You're just like, I'm doing me, I'm doing my thing, and it's just like, why is everyone looking at me? Why is everyone looking at me that way? Like, can't I just do my thing? I'm almost getting the sense that if like this wolf could just transform himself into like anything else, just not be an issue. Like right now, he's almost like food on a plate, and he's just like, if I could be anything that wasn't food, if I could just turn into like a rock or a tree or a bowling ball, I don't know, just anything. If I could turn into something to not be me right now, that would be really great. And I know this space. I know how uncomfortable this can be, and I know what a tough spot that can be. The messages that are coming out immediately are protected by angels. You're cherished by the angels. The message that your inner child wants to give you is that you might be feeling alone in the situation you are right now. You might be surrounded by a lot of people that don't allow you to be yourself, that they have expectations for you to be a certain way. You might feel very judged and alone in your position with all these people. But they want you to know that you are not alone, that you are supported. You have guides, you have spirit. That in that way, you are not alone because they're with you. They're helping guide you. You know, they're helping to guide you to these messages. They're helping to guide you along your path all along. You are supported and you are right and safe in the place that you are. You might not feel very safe in the position you are, and that's probably because of the people around you. They don't mean you harm, but they are harming you with the way that they expect you to be a certain way, the judgment that they put upon you. And I understand how uncomfortable and difficult of a position that is to be in. Even with this summer solstice, this radiance card, right? I'm getting a vision of like a lot of eyes, like no matter where you stand, there's just eyes everywhere. Like you're just feeling very seen, very vulnerable and out in the open. And you know, with this card too, like you are not alone, not only in the sense that spirit is with you, that you are being guided, but you're not alone in this world. And where you are right now might be giving you the impression that you are just so totally different and so totally out there from anyone around you that you must just be I don't want to say crazy, but you just must be just wrong because like you are so very different. And that can give you that impression when you were surrounded by so many people that are making you feel that way. You can start to question yourself. You can start to question your own nature, and you start to think, well, maybe I should just be that rock or bowling ball or whatever to please them. And probably up until this point, you have tried hard to do that, but you found that sort of living can leave you wanting. One, it's not fulfilling or fun for yourself. It certainly doesn't please you, and you might do it to please other people, but in the end, you end up not even pleasing them because it's never going to be enough. It's never going to be right because it's not right for you, and it doesn't fit. Um, and I get too with radiance, like the part of your problem is that the way you are naturally is kind of vibrant. It is not kind of vibrant. It's very vibrant. It's very bright. It is very uh, it is impossible to ignore, and that's why so many eyes fall upon you. Um, is because you just shine so brightly the way that you are. You some might say that you are too much, but you are right and valid as you are, and the key to the situation is surrounding yourself with people that actually do um, see you for you and allow you to be yourself. But in order to be able to do that, we first must see ourselves. We must first validate ourselves. Another cannot do that for us. When you're in this situation where you're surrounded by all that judgment, all those other people, you can find yourself in a space where you're looking to them to validate your existence. You're looking to them to say, like, it's okay to be you. But until you can do that for yourself, until you can take the steps to allow yourself to be yourself, no amount of external validation is going to do that for you. You could find yourself surrounded by people that are encouraging you to be yourself, and yet it wouldn't be enough unless you were able to do it yourself. You wouldn't believe it. Let's pull some tarot cards. We have the Eight of Cups, Ten of Pentacles in reverse, and the Justice card. Right. So some additional messages coming through with the Ten of Pentacles. I can see here that you have a pretty good picture of what it is in life that would bring you happiness. You have a very firm idea of just like, if all of these things were to happen, if these people would just start acting this way, and this situation would be different like this, and this were like this, and if I had all of this, like, that would be perfect, and I would be able to feel safe and right, and everything would be great. Everything would be grand. It is absolutely good to be able to understand that vision, right? It is important to know what we want in this life, and it is very valid to have those desires. But what I'm seeing is that alone is kind of keeping you not really moving forward anywhere. It is also keeping you stuck of like, there feels like there's a gap between where you are now, feeling small and alone, and like you don't have the things that you need to thrive, and this vision of this perfect future. And part of anxiety is kind of living in a future space, right? We experience anxiety because we live in our heads, and we are living for and in the future. We are living in a space of like, what is going to happen? What are they going to say? How is this going to turn out? And it can freeze us. It can lock us in space. And while this thing may be beautiful and bright and everything that you've ever hoped for, it's not going to propel you to it's not going to propel you there. It is not going to draw it any closer. Because I'm also seeing, I'm seeing forward movement, and it all starts with a step, as any journey does. I am seeing forward movement here, and I'm kind of seeing, kind of moving along. You have this. Is that a salmon? I think that is a salmon. We have the salmon moving upriver, right? They move upriver throughout their cycles to their essentially their Ten of Pentacles. They move upriver to their happily ever after. We have here kind of like these cups floating by, and it's as if like these are all the things that they thought were going to make them happy, but they're kind of being swept away. And this trout isn't stopping because it knows where it's going. It is holding that vision. It is propelled by that vision, but it is moving, and it is moving it is not accepting anything less, but also it's not really focused on those things, right? It's not stopping for any of those things that are passing by. It has its goal, its journey in mind, and what that how this journey right here is kind of ending is with this justice card, which I was really hoping that this card would come up, especially with like the amount of judgment that was kind of coming up from around here, because to me this card is so beautiful. This is one of my favorite cards in this deck. This want to say heron. It could be a stork. I'm not certain. I don't have the booklet right now. This bird, this large feathered bird. Just look at the way that they are holding themselves on this rocky outcropping. They have their chest just puffed out, their neck bared, kind of just beak up to the sky, just so proudly declaring themselves. In the animal world, especially, like baring your neck is a very vulnerable position. It's that same vulnerability here, but this is done proudly. This is done effortlessly. This is done boldly, and regardless of what visions you might have of what is your happily ever after, like this energy, this space is what's going to truly bring you everything that you've ever wanted, right? Being able to be yourself proudly and fearlessly and wholly is truly what your inner being is calling out for. These things are great all, and these things will come, but only once this is embodied. So the focus may be like, okay, well, if all this stuff happened, this would make a perfect life, and like, just why can't all that be? Like, that will come. That absolutely is your rights, and will be, ultimately for you. What that looks like could be different than it looks like right now. And that too is why it's important to really not focus too much on the details, and why it would be good to kind of shift focus on yourself, seeing yourself, turning all that sight into yourself, and seeing yourself truly, and allowing yourself to be yourself truly. That's not always the easiest thing, right? Even if you have a good idea of the way you'd want to be, there may be pressures in your life. Maybe there may be situations in your life. You may be living with the people that are judging you, that are making you feel unworthy. The kindest thing that we can do for ourselves is admitting that those people are toxic for us and taking steps away from them. What that looks like for you is going to be, whatever it is. Everyone's situations are different, but there is that first step. Really, the first step is just acknowledging and admitting that those people are not good for us. And if there are people in your life that are treating you poorly because whenever you try to be yourself, they're not accepting of that, those people are not meant for us. And they could be family, they could be longtime friends, they could be people that you look up to. But if they're treating us that way, if they are making us feel lesser or worse for being the way that we are, then those people are not meant for us. And that's not always the easiest thing to admit. And you might not know what to do with a lot of those situations, but there is a first step that you can take, and that step is seeing that. Seeing that, and then seeing yourself. And look, I've been there. Pretty much most of us on this planet are here at some point in our lives, and I understand what a uncomfortable and fearful and difficult place this can be. But I want to go back to this message here of you not being alone, right? You are guided. You are with others. You are not alone in this world, though. I guarantee, whatever weird, strange, different, wonderful way that you are, that there are others like you. Probably not just exactly like you, because you could be quite different. But there are others that are like you, and and are accepting of you. Maybe they're not quite like you at all, but they will still be accepting of you. They would have you as you are and not ask to change a thing about you. They're out there. The way you find them is accepting yourself as you are and not trying to uh, not trying to be different for others. This isn't this doesn't have to be an overnight transformation, right? I understand there's a lot that goes into this. The best thing you could do for yourself at this point would be to be gentle and understanding and nurturing to yourself, because bringing it back into like inner child reading, I'm seeing, your younger self just kind of sitting here just frozen in fear and guilt and shame, and that is it is a very scary place to be in. And yes, you deserve the world nourishing you deserve the world being gentle and loving and caring and understanding with you. Perhaps they haven't been thus far, but you can do that for yourself, and you can turn that kind, gentle gaze in on yourself and just see yourself without judgment. However that is, whatever comes up, good and bad don't apply here. You are you is valid and right and safe and whole. And the kindest thing you can do for yourself is see yourself for you. Right. That's all I have for you in your message today, Pile 3. I hope any of this was helpful. Again, my heart goes out to you. I know the space. I know it sucks. There's no coding it. It sucks. It's absolutely terrible. All I can say, your people are out there. The people that will light up your life are out there. And I see you shining out there. You can't help it. That's such a wonderful thing to be so bright that you just can't even dim. And like, I get that brings a lot of unwanted attention, but that's also just such an amazing thing to be able to burn so brightly. I hope if you like this, if you found this insightful or helpful or anything, please leave a thumbs up and maybe a comment if you're feeling drawn to. Also subscribe to this channel if you are interested in more content like this, because I will be absolutely doing more readings like this. Right now on my channel, I'm kind of just trying out new things. I've got a lot of things about spirituality and science and art and music and whatever. I'm kind of feeling the space out, but I'm definitely going to be doing more of this, so go ahead and keep an eye on the space. I also will very soon be offering free private tarot readings, so keep an eye out on the space for that information as well. Yeah, so I hope wherever you are that you're safe, happy, and well, and until next time, thank you. Oh gosh. Oh gosh. Wow. How long was that? We'll never know. $1 hour? Really? 1 hour and 50. Ha! Oof.